Thank you so much for subscribing to my Patreon, where I bring you brand new content every single week to help you navigate all the different areas of your life. I also answer questions via the DMs. For those of you on the higher tier, you can message me. And if you have any questions or queries, you can ask me any questions anytime. Now, this week, what I wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about how to deal with heartbreak. Now, heartbreak is something that we all experience. It's a very natural emotion. If you haven't experienced it, then I actually feel a bit sorry for you, because you haven't experienced probably one of the hardest things you'll go through. It's genuinely one of the hardest things that you go through, but getting through it gives you a whole new respect for yourself. So it's actually almost like working out. You might not enjoy it, but the outcome is great. And same thing with heartbreak. Obviously, it's torture. You don't want to go through it on purpose, but the outcome is you do learn a lot about yourself. So I'm going to give you 10 steps on how to deal with heartbreak. If you're going through heartbreak, if you know somebody that who's been through a breakup, these are the 10 steps I recommend to healing that heartbreak, okay? So the first thing is to understand what heartbreak is and accept the pain. Now, what I mean by this is your brain is neuroplastic. That means it changes with experience. But more so than anything, your brain is designed to be in pairs, yeah? We've designed us in pairs. That's just how God has made us. We're supposed to be in pairs. And that's a biochemical fact. The more we connect with people, the more anti-anxiety kind of neurotransmitters we produce, the better we sleep, the calmer we are. It's just evolutionary wise, we need people. When you fall in love with somebody, what happens is your neurotransmitters and hormones get connected to the point where if you're really frustrated and really stressed out, they can help calm you down. There's studies to show that women that hold the hands of their husbands while they're going through labor can endure more pain, because it has a soothing effect on you when you touch your partner, and the release of oxytocin. It's a natural, painkiller. So when you go through heartache, you've been ripped off your medication, basically. Your natural anti-anxiety, your natural antidepressant has been ripped off you. And the only thing that can bring you back to a sense of stability is hearing from them and seeing them and spending time with them. So you crave them like a drug addict would crave crack. You crave them like a drug addict would crave a drug. You literally feel like you can't concentrate, you can't get on with your day, you've got this hole in your heart. It's totally expected. It's totally natural. The reason why you need to understand that it's natural and biological is people confuse this feeling. The moment they get this feeling, they think, oh my God, I must really, really love this partner, because look at me, I'm a mess without them. I can't concentrate, I can't calm down, I sleep so much better when I've heard from them. I must be in love. No. Okay, yes, you must be attached. There must be an attachment there. There must be a synchrony between your neurotransmitters and the relief that they give you, but it's not an indication of love. It's simply an indication of attachment. So what some people do is they go back to abusive relationships, or they go back to negative relationships, simply because they can't calm their brain down, and they think that this is indicative of how much they love them. That's not what it is. It's simply because you've gotten used to this particular attachment. It's now in line with your neurotransmitters. Seeing and speaking to them calms you down, but it doesn't mean you're in love with them, and it doesn't mean that they're healthy for you. It just means that you need new connections in your life. You need more connections in your life. Usually people who suffer from heartbreak for longer, and it takes them longer to recover, are the ones that don't have many connections in their life. They don't have many family connections. They don't have many friends. They don't enjoy being around their colleagues. The more you build your circle of connections, the more you will rely on that partner to relieve you of your pain and stress. So if you are going through this and you're feeling that intensity, try and reach out to your circle. If you don't have a circle, recognize that this is what your body is craving and try and build one. Whether it's going to a gym class, whether it's going to a cooking class, anything that involves group affiliation, that will produce similar kind of neurotransmitters that will calm you down. So go look for connection. It's a signal for connection, not for going back to your partner. Now, the second thing I recommend for healing a heartbreak is really reframing how you talk to yourself about this person. What a lot of people do is they focus on the person. They say, I want him back. I want her back. What you want to do instead is stop focusing on the person and start focusing on the traits of them that you liked. And what you then need to realize is it's not that I need to be with this person, but I need somebody that had these particular traits, whether that it was that they were affectionate, whether it was because they were caring, whether it was because they were beautiful, whether it was because they were financially stable, whatever traits it were that made you attached to this person, those traits are still available in other people. Take this person off their pedestal. You've got it in your mind that there's nobody like this, and I have to get back with them, and it's they were this and they were that. We have this special connection. The connection comes from particular traits that you liked. Those traits are still available and accessible in different people. You've just got to remember that. You might never be with this person again, but you can still recreate that level of connection as long as you're still looking for the similar traits that led you to attach to this person. And likewise, you have to also remind yourself of the traits that led to the breakup. There were lots of traits in the relationship that led to the breakup. Remind yourself of those traits and say, well, I need somebody with the traits that I loved, but without the traits that caused the reoccurring fights. So separate the person from the traits that they have and take them off the pedestal, and start your journey again by looking for the traits, not looking for that particular person again. The third step is having a very clear vision. Now, what I mean by this is what you need to do is have a very clear vision of where you see yourself in 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. Now, most people imagine themselves in 10 years' time to be in a healthy relationship, hopefully with children and a family. That's where most people would imagine themselves in 10 years. Then you have to ask yourself, does your partner or your former partner, does that partner fit this particular vision? With the way that they are now, does this partner fit this vision? Now, if the answer is absolutely not, with the way that they are now, if we froze time and he was in my vision or she was in my vision in 10 years, would kill each other, or we would separate, or the kids would be a mess, then you've got to remind yourself of your vision. Every time you miss them, every time you want them, you've got to remind yourself that they are not going to bring you closer to your end goal. Instead, they're going to derail you from your vision, and they're going to take you down a darker path. So imagine where they might take you, or where you might take them, or just the relationship itself. It might not be their fault. It just might be the dynamics. Now, every time you miss them, you remind yourself of the vision, and then you try your best to simply be happy for people who don't fit your vision, but you don't want to be hating them either. You just be happy for them on the side. This is my vision. This is where I want to go. You don't have to belong to my vision, but I can love you from a distance. I can love you from afar. I can still love you. Two things can be true at the same time. I can still love you, but you're not part of my vision. And therefore, by derailing and getting back with you will stop me from my end goal, and I don't really want that right now. You remind yourself of that. Thank you so much for joining. Fourth factor that I recommend for your subscriptions. Remember, if you are on the higher tier, you can message me anytime and ask any questions that you may have. I'm also available for one-to-one sessions should and when you need it. Try Corsadil Active Gum Repair. Corsadil.
Tiso's story started with a gift, blending tradition with revolution.
Why do you think women are jealous of each other?
Oh my God. This is a topic I could talk about forever. I've had really bad experiences with women, if I'm being honest. I've had terrible experiences my entire life.
I actually saw you post a comment. Someone sent you a DM.
Yeah.
And it was just
It's vile, right?
vile.
Yeah, my whole life I've had this.
It was so. I've had a few.
Mine has been like bullying. by women. It started even in my home and like family and stuff. I've had a really, really rough ride with women my whole life. Really rough ride, and it's good and bad. The good thing from it is I'm not as emotionally affected by what they have to say, and I don't crave the acceptance. I've always just had more men around me, more male friends, or whatever it is, and I don't judge. But one thing, and I've become really good at selecting women in my life. But one thing I always say is choose female friends. I always say two women can be best friends until a man is involved. A man is what creates jealousy between women. It's not a man's fault before the men go. It's just how we're programmed. What happens is you can have two best friends, but the moment they start liking the same man, they're jealous of each other. You can have like sisters. The moment that one man and it's really what happens, what causes jealousy is when, this is why two married women that are happily married tend not to be jealous of each other, or two people in happy relationships. I always say my friends tend to be happily married. I always have female friends that are happily married or happy in their relationship. When you have women, when it is jealousy, it's usually because they're competing over what they believe is a scarce resource. And men, they believe that if you get the man, I can't get the man. And then the jealousy starts. But when you remove men from the equation, women can get on really well. So I think I always select friends that are just genuinely happy. They're happy as people, but it does help when they're in happy relationships. They're not competing.
What are the signs of a friend that's jealous of you?
They are silent when things are good for you. When things are going good, they're a bit more silent, and when things are going bad, they're present. But when it's not so much about who's there for you when things are bad, because sometimes people just like to hear gossip and like to know. It's when things are going good for you, they're silent, or the energy shifts and stuff like that. So I would say how they respond when things are going good in your life. And you can't fake that. So, like, if you tell a girl that you're pregnant and she goes a bit quiet, or you're getting married, she goes a bit quiet, you can't fake those responses. Yeah, so whereas you can fake it, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through a divorce, you can fake that. But you can't fake your visceral reaction when things are going good for people. And when people are saying good things about you, how does that person respond? Do they join in with the good comments, or do they go quiet?
I had a friend like that once, and I learned.
Do you think it's more in Asian girls?
She was actually English.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've not really experienced it much with English girls.
I had an English friend.
Bitch. Coming for you, Janet.
No, I had a friend, and I said some good news to her. And one thing I learned about was facial reactions, and her reaction was so forced.
It's the good news.
And I was just like, oh wow, like you actually don't want me to do better than you, or
well, the thing is, there is no better. It's just different.
Yeah, like as in, not better than her, but just she didn't want me to give her the news that I gave her because it was such big news. And the reaction was just so forced. And in my head, like even after that, she just went quiet.
Yeah, it's the quiet.
And she's always there for bad news.
Bad news, and I say that's my number one advice: is how do people respond when good things are happening for you? And it's not limited to friends; it could be family as well. And it's not limited to women. It could be men as well. I had men when I started my Instagram, and I had some male friends who were just genuinely jealous. And I'm like, why are you jealous?
What?
I don't know, of the notoriety or something like that. Not that there's any notoriety, it's just followers. It's not that deep. But I remember like a male friend of mine getting a bit bitchy with me and being like, oh, you're always out for dinners in Dubai and you're always doing this, and just that jealousy. And I don't think it's gendered, but it's usually more amongst the same gender. And men get jealous of other men as well. They just express it differently.
Oh, men are quite bad.
Yeah, they're really bad. Yeah. Women were just more known for it and obvious about it. But men will joke about the jealousy. They'll be like, even when I was a teacher, I used to observe this a lot in students with men with boys when they compete with each other. They'd be like, you're so dumb, you got a D, I got a C. They're in competition with each other, but they make a joke out of it. Whereas women, they're in silent competition.
Yeah. Women, I feel like women's jealousy can become quite toxic. I feel like there's a movement now.
I do think it's both way around. Sometimes I find myself as well being a little bit like, I don't want to tell her this good news. And maybe my being cautious is what's creating maybe it's me. Maybe it's something I'm doing. So I do think that we need to analyze, maybe it's a dynamic thing. But I have been quite unlucky with women throughout my life.
Same.
Yeah, I've been really unlucky, unfortunately.
Yes.
But God blesses you in different ways. So I've been really lucky with males and male friends and stuff like that. I've been really, really lucky. But women, I now put nothing past them. In my life, I put nothing past it.
I've had a lot of female friends, and to be honest, out of all my friends, I'm the most driven one.
Yeah.
So I've always been quite motivated from a young age because I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So for me, it was always to strive and be better and do more. So I was always the one that was working longer than all my friends, doing more than all my friends, and essentially having 3 jobs at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, like I've always been like
I've
that.
had the opposite problem where I've always been, I have no work ethic, by the way, guys, 0. I'm incredibly relaxed when it comes to work. I could take it or leave it. But success or kind of like anything, whatever you call it, just used to follow me. So even when I was a teacher, I would get really high results out of the kids, or and I'm not a hardworking person at all. Even like with the social media stuff, I just post it. I don't care about it. I really didn't care about it at all. I just used to post it. I didn't think anything about it. I never invested in marketing. I never even graphic design. My page is so embarrassing. It's like GCSE artwork, and I don't care and everyone's like, you could be this, you should be doing that, and I'm like, I don't care about this stuff. Like, I could care less. But it happens to follow me. The kind of reaction followed me, and I think that used to lead to a lot of jealousy because it would come a bit more effortlessly for me. A lot of things, like even with how maybe people would treat me nicely or whatever it is, and I felt like sometimes people get jealous of the reaction you receive from others, not even just you, just the fact that it's so easy for you to make friends, or it's so easy for you to jump the queue, or it's so easy for you to like get on a podcast with this person or that person so quickly and easily. Praise be to God. This is all praise be to God. But I would always have the opposite problem because it looked like I was doing everything effortlessly, but it would come. I don't have a work ethic. I had an ethic to be educated, never to work, ever. So it just came as a result.
But I feel like you're doing what you love, and you're essentially,
praise be to God.
you are, and like a lot of the stuff that you actually attract, like you're actually putting out good information.
I try to. I try not to put anything out that's not beneficial. If it's just a bit of nonsense, I try and avoid it. And sometimes I do. And when I do put nonsense out, it goes viral. Like I always say, one of my most viral videos about gold diggers and men who are broke being worried about gold diggers. And I hate that that's the most viral one because it's just nonsense. It's just me talking to myself. It is very true. If you're broke, don't worry about gold digger, bitch. You don't need to worry, okay? Worry about getting another job. I do, and I hate when my nonsense goes viral because there's so many better things. But if it helps draw people into the page, then it's all going to work out in the long run.
What do you want to be known for?
Oh, that's a nice question. Just keeping it real. I feel like I'm a very unbiased person. I'm very balanced. People always consider me either a misogynist or a feminist. I always get called and labeled one, but if you get labeled both, that means you must be balanced. So I would love for people to remember me as somebody, or know me as somebody who's very balanced, and to remember my goal is to keep you guys together, keep relationships together, not to pit each other against each other. Just keep each other together. That's what I would love to be known for.
I honestly have really enjoyed this podcast.
Thank you. I really loved it. I love being